everybody, it's Josie and I am filming today for you all a travel Q&A video. Brief background, I've been traveling since May 2018. It is now March 2019 and it's supposed to be a full year of travel, so we got a few more months left. Alright, how much of your trip did you plan before leaving? We only knew where we were gonna go maybe the first 2 months. We wanted to do Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru because it just goes like phew. All we had was our flight to Colombia and the Salcante Machu Picchu tour in Peru booked. Everything else we booked while we were in the country. All of our accommodations, our bus travel, our flight travel, all of our other tours, we just booked it on the ground. A tip, booking tours, don't do it ahead of time. I think they just know that those that plan early, maybe they are like willing to pay more. But once we got to the city, like once we got to Cusco, Peru, there were so many tour agencies selling the Salcante trek for so much cheaper than what we were gonna pay online. You can save a lot of money if you just book a tour and kind of bargain once you're in the city. We went back to the US and then again, we didn't have much of our trip planned. We just knew that we were going to go to Europe next to visit people that we had met in Burning Man, that we'd met in Peru, that we had connections with. We knew that we wanted to go to Southeast Asia, but we didn't have flights booked. We didn't have transportation accommodation booked. We only had the one-way ticket, and then we made everything else. Maybe like 2 weeks in advance, 1 week in advance, we'd start booking things for the next leg. So it's been pretty sporadic planning. What do you do if you can't speak the language? Great question, Max No Sleeves. I always have Google Translate downloaded and I make sure to download the offline version of the language of where I'm going to. So like Spanish, download it. German, Thai, Vietnamese. You can use it offline when you don't have data, no Wi-Fi. If you really have a question and no one speaks English, just type in what you want to say and show it to them. So sometimes they might not be able to understand what terima kasih looks like in like our ABCs. So what I do is I click the sound button. If that country has like the sound audio, it will play it in that language so that if they hear it, they're like, oh, that's what you want to say. It's pretty helpful. But I also make sure that I know the basics of any language for where I'm going. Thank yous, hellos, goodbyes, where is the bathroom, how much. All the basic phrases, I do make sure that I try and learn and memorize or at least write it down. I don't like to go somewhere and expect that everyone knows English. It seems kind of like uppity, I think, if I expect that everyone should understand me when I'm in their country. Locals will kind of appreciate that you're trying, so it's always nice to get on the good side and really try and get to the culture and learn their language if you're visiting their country. What's your go-to travel snack? I don't have travel snacks, we just eat out. If we're staying in a place for a while to get groceries, peanut butter sandwiches are always great. Nuts are good, or fruit, or chips. Granola snacks. I was actually just eating some of these before I started this video and they are addictive. But yeah, we don't actually have that many snacks on us. We always like go out for a meal, eat street food because it's been so cheap and budget friendly wherever we go. Minimalist packing tips. And you really just kind of downgrade. Like you are just gonna have to mix and match different outfits. Bring very versatile clothing. A skirt, a sarong. So I bought this sarong in Thailand. I'm wearing it as a dress right now, but it could be worn as a skirt. There's tons of other ways to wear this thing. I need to actually look them up. Nothing too fancy because really if you're budget traveling, you're not gonna be going to any galas. Just to show you, here is a clip of what I packed for a year of travel. I hope you guys like it and I hope it helps you decide how to be minimalistic and packing. Along the way, obviously you buy stuff, like I bought this in Thailand. You will accumulate and then you kind of have to make sacrifices and drop off certain things that you don't need anymore or that you can live without for the rest of the travels. So I've dropped a few things. I've dropped like a rain jacket, I've dropped a pair of jeans because I found a better pair of jeans. I've dropped a few things. planned your travel? What are the costs? Also your do's and don'ts. Okay, so how we plan our travel. We don't like to plan too far in advance because we have a whole year, we have time, and we never know if we want to spend longer than a few days in a place. We might want to spend 3 days, we might want to spend 3 weeks. That's why we don't like to limit ourselves and book flights and book bus tickets and book hotel rooms before we know how we like a certain area. So we'll go there, spend a few days there. If we like it, we'll extend our stay. If we don't, we'll look for a bus out in the next few days. Roughly plan our itinerary, put down the country or the cities of where we want to go, and kind of work from there. Let's say it's August and we know that we have a deadline of the 22nd to be somewhere new, like number 3. From there, you work backwards. Like, okay, I want to be in this city for 4 days. I want to be in this place for a week, so on and so on. Number 1, right? So let's say we get to number 1 and we like it, so we keep extending it until the end. Or if we don't like it a lot, we will shorten our stay and look for some transport options to the next place, and then add it in there. Usually, if you're within a country, the local transport isn't too expensive. I understand for flights, that's when we look ahead of time and make sure we get the cheapest deal on flights. But for these little short in-country trips, the prices never really differ between when, if you want to book 2 days in advance versus 4 days in advance. I do suggest that you look up the places you're going and have a list of places and things you want to see in that country that you're in now, because you don't want to be spending a whole day researching and looking up things and kind of wasting a day in your travel. So make sure you have a list of what you want to see prepared, not by the hour to the minute plan for the day, but a general list of a few things that you want to see while you're there in that country. So do make a plan, but don't make it a strict plan that chokes you into a time frame. In terms of travel, like transportation, we always use Google Flights or Skyscanner for budget flights. For buses, it depends on the countries that you're in. So if you're in Asian countries, 12go.asia is a good website for finding buses or ferries. In Europe, it was Flexbus or Euro something, Go Euro. There's so many different websites. The countries that we've been to, I've been writing little small blog posts on josievmy.com if you want to check it out. See if one of them is about a country that you want to go to and just give it a little read. They're not super in-depth blog posts about the history of the country or anything. It's just kind of a reminder for me when I get old and senile what we did on this year of travel. It's a year of travel. We did want to do it in a way where we're seeing new places, but not in a super fancy travel way, more of a budget backpack travel way, between low to medium budget. So we're not living like queens and kings. Definitely at least save $1,500 per month of your travel just as a buffer. You could definitely do less if you are really on a tight budget. You could also do more if you want to do lots of tours or excursions. If you do lots of tours and excursions, you're going to want to add more. Of course, it also depends on the country. So Colombia, Thailand, Vietnam, super cheap, right? But if you go to Europe, super expensive. We were even staying at friends' houses in Europe, and it was still a lot. 2 months cost us around $3,300 each. Right now I'm looking at my app, finances app. It's called TripCoin. I log everything that we spend money on just so I can see. For example, in Colombia, for around 5 weeks, we spent $1,250. And that's everything. Accommodation, travel, everything. In Peru, for a month, we did $2,300. And that's because of the tours and excursions we did. We did lots of tours in Peru, like Machu Picchu, all of that. Turkey, for a week and a half, 2 weeks was $600-ish. Thailand for 2 months was $2,000, so cheap. Malaysia for 2 weeks was around $400. It's cheap because I also did a workaway or volunteering there. My average spending in Europe, average daily spending, around $60. In Thailand, $35. Very different, double the price in Europe. Back to cost. Keep in mind how you want to travel, where you want to travel, and what you want to do when you're traveling. You want to be super budget and be okay with skipping some museums, skipping some excursions. Are you okay with hostels, sharing dorm rooms, eating street food? Or do you want to be fancy and stay in nice hotels where you have your own private room with air conditioning and breakfast is included and nice restaurants? If you're budget and you're going to the more budget countries, $1,000 to $1,500 is good per month. If you want to be fancy, I would say $2,000 per month. What you want to do in your travel. You want to go to a bunch of different places and explore and see things all the time, Or are you okay with maybe the possibility of volunteering somewhere for a few weeks, which means you don't get to go every day out somewhere new since you have to work maybe 5 to 6 days a week. You'll have maybe the weekend to explore, but mostly you'll be working in exchange for a place to sleep and some meals. That will really help you save, but again, it's like you're giving up the freedom to go explore in order to save money. It's like what you're willing to do. So Malaysia, again, I did volunteering. I went to Kuala Lumpur and I just did 2 weeks there volunteering. The only other place I went to in Malaysia was Penang for a weekend. I was kind of sad I didn't get to explore Malaysia more, but I did save a lot of money because I was working in exchange for food and accommodation. And then do's and don'ts of travel. Do prepare yourself for each country by looking up the cultural etiquette, how to act, how to behave, how not to act, how not to behave, what to wear. Like you can't show your shoulders or your knees. You shouldn't point the bottom of your feet at people. No eye contact or brief eye contact. Look up basic common phrases. Just be polite. Don't be a loud, obnoxious tourist speaking really loud English, hoping that everyone understands you because they don't, because you're in a different country. Open to different cultures and be understanding to locals, and be open to new experiences and activities. Don't shut yourself off because of what you've heard in past travel experiences or because you think people are trying to scam you, because it's not always the case. People are actually friendly. Take downtime if you need to relax and need to be away with people, because after a while when you're traveling for so long, it's a lot of like new people, new stimulus all the time, and sometimes you need a break. So don't feel like you have to be on all the time or seeing somewhere new every day. You can have a day to yourself where you're just sitting in a hostel, reading a book, watching a movie. Always bring toilet paper with you and Purell, because you never know when you're going to need either. I always bring my passport with me just because I like to have it on my body. But some people don't like that in case they get mugged or something. Take a picture of your passport and take a picture of your visa entry and visa exit dates. If you get caught by the police without your passport, like in Malaysia, one of my friends did, they almost took her to the police station because they were like, yo, you're overextending your visa and you can't show us proof that you're here legally, blah, blah, blah. For money, don't keep all your money on you in one wallet. Kind of put them in different places in your bag in case you do happen to have the unfortunate circumstance of getting stolen from. Disperse your money so that you're not screwed when your backpack's taken. Always have locks to lock your stuff up. Make sure you have a phone plan that you can rely on. Lee has his Google Fi, which is like $20 a month for the plan and then an extra $10 for each gig of data. AT&T's phone plan sucks overseas, so I don't use it. I heard T-Mobile is good. The places that were there for long term, maybe like 2 weeks or more, I get a SIM card, which are super cheap, and I just use those. So make sure you're somehow connected, that way you can talk to people when you need to and communicate when you need to. Make sure to have the right credit card and debit card before you travel. I got the Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card, no foreign transaction fees, and it has great point rewards, and it gives us access to priority pass lounges in the airport, which is super helpful. Most of them have like free food, a place to chill, Wi-Fi, free drinks so that we can relax when we're traveling in between places. My debit card, I have Charles Schwab, which is a good account. Reimburses all ATM fees, and I can use it everywhere to withdraw money. Lee went with a local Arkansas bank, but his also reimburses any ATM fees. Look for that because that's so important, because when you're pulling out money, it adds up, all those little ATM fees. If they reimburse it, no problem. Man, there's so many tips and tricks, do's and don'ts. Shop around when you're looking at tours and excursions or transportation options, because there's so many sellers of these things and you're gonna find a better deal at one place versus another. Don't settle on the first tour that you see for some hike to Mount Batur for sunrise, selling it for like $50 US. You can probably find it somewhere else on the road for $30 US. Make sure you shop around and don't settle on the first thing you see. Always be aware of your surroundings, safety, and location. In Colombia, they said no dar papaya, like don't give or don't show your papaya. Don't show like your phone or your money. Make sure that you're smart with your belongings. Lock it up, zip it up, carry it in front of you, like if you want like a turtle backpack in front of you. Don't get belligerently drunk and black out. Again, be safe, be smart. Duh. If you're on a budget, save money wherever possible. Stay in hostels, stay in dorms, they're not bad. So many of the ones you stayed in have been awesome, like maybe a handful of the 10 months have been like real sketch. You can find good hostel dorms like from $5 to $11 a night, and it's great. Street food, it's not all bad and gonna give you food poisoning, I swear. The food that looks like it's been cooked thoroughly, or that a lot of people are at, or juices or smoothies, but those are usually the cheapest options for food. Meet new friends, go to new places, change your plans. You may make a day plan, but then someone recommends something else. Don't block it out entirely because you already have your set plan. Be open to it. That's the fun of traveling. That's the fun of backpacking. That's the fun of new experiences, like going somewhere that you didn't think about before and having a new experience. Don't be upset if things don't go according to plan. They hardly ever do. Just go with the flow and be happy that it's a new experience you get to have. Favorite place so far? Favorite place to vacation to? Probably Turkey. Cappadocia, Turkey was just breathtaking, and I've never seen anything like it. The landscape was like a moon, and the beautiful balloons and the people, and Istanbul. I have to go back to Turkey because the US allows you to be there for 3 months, so I have to go back and explore more. It's huge. The people were so nice, the food was great, and it's just a beautiful country. Then my favorite place, like where I could potentially live, either Colombia, because it's so nice there and it's affordable and the people are nice, and I speak some Spanish, so it helped me get by a little bit. Or Belgium. I could live there because of their waffles, and I like their beer. People there speak French, German, Dutch, and English. It's pretty cool. You're like in a little melting pot of a country. And it's pretty. How did my friends and family react to me deciding to travel instead of work after my degree? Graduated in 2015. I've been working for like almost 3 years. That's how I saved money for this travel. And then I took off a break from work. I requested a year off and they signed it. I go back to work in July 2019. So I have a job. My friends are all like, yeah, dude, that's awesome. Go for it. That's crazy. You're so lucky. I wish I could do that. Go experience life and have fun while we're here working, you know. But my parents were more concerned because of obviously traveling alone. Although I'm not alone, I'm with my boyfriend Lee. But just traveling, you know, as a solo pair in countries that we don't know, people we don't know, cultures we don't know. Like, parents always worry. They had a bit more peace of mind because one, I was with Lee, who's like a manly, tall man who can like beat up people if they are bad to us. And two, I'm very safe with my money and I'm very safe with my budget. And three, I had a secure job when I'm going back. I think they were worried that I was gonna quit and then come back and have nothing to go back to in terms of income. But no, that's not the case. I have a job to go back to. I think it's their generation, but like, because a lot of people nowadays are doing this. Like, they are traveling. Like, when you go out, you meet so many people just like us who either quit their jobs or took off a year or so to travel and explore the world. Because everyone's realizing that you have to do it now while you're young and not wait until your children have grown up and then you're like in your 60s, 70s and now you're ready to go, but maybe you can't do all the physical activities that you could have done when you were in your 20s. Everyone's going now while they're not tied down by things. But my mom was like, I don't know how you can do that and spend money on yourself and not save it all for your family in the future. It's just different generations, different ways of living. I'm still gonna provide for my family, but I also want to do this for myself before I have a family. So she saw my point. She saw that I wanted to experience life, see more about life, see what else is out there, and not just live in my little bubble of Washington, D.C., Virginia, the USA. Open my mind to new experiences and learn more about people, the world, everything. If you tell them your reasoning, your friends, your family, whoever asks, make them see your perspective, they're more open to the idea. Where are you off to next? After Bali, I go back to Hanoi to meet Lee and a few other friends, and we're gonna do the north of Vietnam because we left the north of Vietnam early to go to Thailand because it was raining every day nonstop. And we couldn't do Halong Bay, we couldn't do the Ha Yang Moto Loop. Rainy, wet season's like over. We're gonna go back to northern Vietnam and finish those big check off the list things to do. Do I save up for travel forever or do I still have an income? No income. It's all on my savings. If you want a video on savings tips or a video on further explanations of any of my answers in this video, let me know. This is just a Q&A. I want to get the answers out to you quickly, but if you want a full in-depth convo on like how do you book all of your transport, all the nitty-gritty of it, and best deals for hotels, hostels, accommodation, all the tips and tricks of travel, let me know. Catastrophe asks, how do you manage to travel for so long and pay for it? It's a dream of mine to do that. again, I just saved. When I get back home, I'm gonna have a lot less in my savings, but to me, it is worth it. And I'm gonna work again. I'm gonna work for the rest of my life, and I'll make money, and it's fine. Again, if you're on a budget and you don't have a lot of savings now, all you really need is enough money for a flight there and a flight back home. Once you get there, you just get volunteering opportunities. Boom, accommodation is covered, food is covered. If you really don't care about what you're doing, pick up a side job and make some money so that you can live a little comfortably and have food to eat. But if your dream is just to go travel and get out there but you don't have enough money, there's many ways you can do that with a low budget. So you don't have to be super rich or have a lot of money saved up to do travel. Don't think that. If you're okay with staying in a place and volunteering for a while and working for a while, then anybody can go out and travel, honestly. So those are all the questions I'm covering in this Q&A. And if you want me to talk more about all of these, if you have any questions that are additional that were not asked here, just comment below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye.